Parts, a daily social media show where I go live once a day, Monday through Friday, to share one good part from my life and or business in an effort to help spread more freedom, prosperity, happiness, and goodness out into the world. And in today's video, I want to share with you an ancient pattern of influence. I titled this video, How to Influence Like a God. It's a little bit hyperbole, but I have a method to my madness. The reason that I titled this live with that hopefully catchy headline, How to Influence Like a God, is because recently in my studies, I came across this pattern that is ancient. It's at least thousands of years old. And there's a strong correlation between this pattern that I picked up in this old book to language patterns that you can use as you're communicating with people and teaching and serving. Hopefully, as you're teaching and communicating and serving, you're giving suggestions for people to follow to help them get to where they want to go and also to help them avoid pain. And so if you can understand this language pattern, I really do believe that this is one of the core foundations of being able to influence others successfully and effectively. So, hey, Sarah Jane, thank you so much for saying hello. She says, hey, Paul, love these lives. Woohoo! Thank you, thank you, thank you. So let me just jump straight away into this, and I'll preface this by saying, I'm gonna be sharing a little bit from a religious text. But this is not a religious message. You don't even have to be religious to get the lesson from this text. So I set a goal to read the Old Testament because I believe it has a lot of ancient ideas, some wise ideas, and I want to pick those up. And I want to be able to use those in my own life and as I'm communicating with others. And I ran into this one little chapter that kind of blew me away when I thought about it, in comparison to sales and marketing and influential communication. So I'm just going to share with you just a few pieces of this chapter. This is Leviticus 26, and it starts off in verse 2 by saying the following. And I want to see if you can catch the pattern and comment in the chat below if you can kind of catch this before I start talking about how it applies to influence in sales and marketing. So here's how it goes. You shall keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary. And then it says, if you walk in my statutes and keep my commandments and do them, then I will give you rain in due season, and the land shall yield her increase, and the trees of the field shall find their fruit. And your threshing shall reach unto the vineyard, and the vintage shall reach unto the sowing time, and ye shall eat your bread to the full, and dwell in your land safely. And I will give you peace in the land, and you shall lie down, and none shall make you afraid. And it goes on and on and on, listing all these benefits, right? And then after it gets done listing all the benefits, if you scroll down, it says, let me see if I can find this. It says, if you will not hearken unto me, then I will punish you. And it continues on. I will break the pride of your power. I will make your heaven as iron, and your strength shall be spent in vain. And if you walk contrary to me and don't listen to me, I will bring 7 times more plagues upon you according to your sins. And it continues on, right? So, and I'm not going to read all of this because it's really like kind of harsh. I was telling my wife and kids last night, I said, man, if you ever want to be like terrified into trying to do the right thing, you guys should read the Old Testament because it really just like hits you the way that, all of these penalties are listed. So, if there's people still here live, did you guys pick up the pattern that I'm gonna illustrate? Any clues on the pattern that was listed in that old book? And I'm going to wait for just a second to see what your ideas are. Like, how can what I just read be applied to communication, be applied to sales? How can what I just read be applied to marketing? Any guesses? And I'm going to check the feed here to see. We still have some viewers, so no guesses. All right, well, I'll just go ahead and lay it out. So Sarah Jane says, put the work in and reap the rewards. Okay, that's a good guess. And I believe that. I believe if you put in the work, you'll reap the rewards. Here's what I'm looking for. So that story that I just read, here was the pattern. If you do what I'm asking you to do, then you will have all of these benefits. If you don't do what I'm asking you to do, then you will have all of these penalties. So that's the pattern. So like I'm on this live, right? If you guys decide to pay attention to this video, it's quite possible that you'll pick up an influence idea that will greatly strengthen and enhance your ability to influence others in new and powerful ways. Did you catch that? If you do what I want you to do, which is watch this video, then there's a benefit here for you. So you can use those in like intros to your videos. You can use those in calls to actions in your PS lines of your emails. You can use those at the end of your videos. And here's another thing to think about. Napoleon Hill said, you should never ask someone to do something unless you give them a reason, unless you give them a benefit, and then ask them to do something. So this pattern is super, super valuable. And to put it in a little bit more context, Anthony Robbins said that a human being's two greatest motivators are hope of gain and fear of loss. Hey, Kevin, good to see you. Hope of gain and fear of loss. So if we scroll back to this little story from this old book, hope of gain, like what's the ultimate hope of gain from a religious standpoint? Heaven, right? What's the ultimate fear of loss? Hell. So like a lot of the patterns in some of the old books are, if you do what I say, then you will have the ultimate benefit, go to heaven. If you don't do what I say, then you will have the ultimate suffering. You're going to go to hell, right? Hope of gain, fear of loss. So these patterns are prevalent in these books that are thousands of years old, and they're still prevalent today. We all, as human beings, we want to do things that are going to benefit us. We also want to avoid doing things that are going to cause us pain or suffering. Hope of gain, fear of loss. So the pattern, again, is if you do this thing, whatever you're asking somebody to do, if you decide to watch this video, then you can discover benefit. If you decide to click this link and get started today, then you will have benefit. And if you don't decide to click this link, fill out the form, and get started today, then here's what could happen. You could your experience could be like my experience, which was when I got started in business and I started the wrong business. What happened was I went for a year, I didn't make any money. Next few years weren't much better. Then I joined the wrong company, but I made some money, and then the company stole my commissions. And then I joined another wrong company. And then what happened was the company changed the comp plan and took away my income. And then I joined another company. So you see how what I'm doing is I'm illustrating all of these negative scenarios that people might be able to avoid if they will click my link and fill out the form to the perfect business, the right business, the business that's been set up to help people have all of the benefits without all of the pain. So is this making sense? Like whatever you're inviting people to do, you want to connect benefit to the invitation all the time. Whenever you're inviting somebody to do something, you always want to give them a beneficial reason as to why they might want to follow your suggestion. And then you can also do like this old book did, is you can also list out the negative things that might happen if they don't decide to follow your suggestion. Now, I'm not saying this is the only thing that goes into influence, because let me lay this out too. If I tell you that if you do the thing I'm asking you to do and you'll have all of these benefits, but you don't believe that I'm telling you the truth, will you follow my invitation? I'm looking at the comments and I'm going to answer my own question. You won't, right? So it's not just about language patterns, and it's not just about attaching benefits to calls to action and negative penalties to not following your call to action. That's a part of it. But all of that has to come from a person that you trust, that you believe has your highest and best interest in mind, that you believe is telling you the truth. So there are other things that go into this influence. It's not just being able to paint out benefits and penalties. If you can express yourself as someone that is trustworthy, if you can express yourself as someone who is credible, who is worth listening to, and then you combine that character with value and then calls to action that are in alignment with the truth. I'll just throw that out there, because I've also known marketers that knew this. They knew this, how to influence like a God language pattern, and they knew about attaching benefits to calls to action and penalties to not doing the call to action. And they would just stack up like all these kinds of benefits, some of which might not even be real, and attach all these penalties, some of which might not even be real, to the call to action. And that can work if you're talking to someone who is not maybe consciously aware enough to know that they're being lied to. But eventually, there's a quote from, who is it? Emerson. I think it's Emerson. The truth will out. And what I think that means is that the truth always comes out in the end. So you don't want to be one of those people that's just attaching whatever random benefit that you can to the call to action. What you want to be is you want to be a person as best as you can who's living in truth. And then as you're living in truth, when you invite people to do things, you only attach the benefits that you believe deep down to your core are actual, real, truthful benefits to those calls to action. Same with the penalty side of things. And if you do that, you can maintain your trust and credibility so that when you invite someone to actually do something, those invitations will have a high probability of working not just today, but far off into the future, because you're building trust and you're gaining trust with people by only inviting them to do things that you really believe will help them, and you're not, fabricating things. So anyway, that's the influence pattern. If benefit, then if call to action, then benefit. And then the other version is if don't do call to action, then negative potentialities. That's the influence pattern, and it's not new. It's taught in a lot of influence books. It's taught in language pattern trainings like NLP language pattern trainings. But isn't it interesting that this language pattern has been around for thousands of years, as I just showed in this old book on Leviticus? You'll see it. There it is. How to influence like a god. So anyway, Kevin says this will be a replay. Awesome. I hope you do watch the replay. I hope it gives value to you. Hello, Bill Fever. That's my message for today, guys. I do these every day, Monday through Friday. My vision is freedom through principle-centered leadership. So what I strive to do is show up every day and share one good idea at least that has helped me to build a life of freedom, and that hopefully can help you continue to build a life of freedom in business as you're moving forward. So if you want more content from me, I would love to invite you to subscribe to wherever you're finding me on social media here, right? If you want more from me, and I've explained what my mission is. So, right, if you want to learn things that can help you build more freedom, then you may want to subscribe to me on social media. See that language pattern? And then I'll give you another invitation. If you want to be sure not to miss out on all of my future content that truly may help you live your best life, create prosperity, build a situation where you can disconnect your time from your money. If you don't want to miss out on all of that, I would love to invite you to subscribe to my email list, and you can do that at myfreedomfamily.com. You'll be on my email list. You'll get all of my best content. And also, if you do subscribe to my email list at myfreedomfamily.com, then you'll have the opportunity to see what I believe is the best, absolutely the best, no question about it, no doubt in my mind, way to grow a residual income that's safe, where no one gets hurt, where everyone receives benefit, that's very profitable, the most profitable thing that I can see on the internet. So you can grow a residual income faster. You can see that at myfreedomfamily.com as well. Of course, you don't have to join that, but at least you can take a look as you're subscribing to my email list. So you see how I did those calls to action at the end of my video using the How to Influence Like a God language patterns. So that's it, guys. If you got value from this video, I'd love to invite you to comment below. Hope you have a great day, and I'll be back tomorrow. All right, make it a good one. Bye, everybody. Always go for your